Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. This one's just kind of like a fun combo style deck. It focuses on bringing out this guy, the last warrior from another planet. I've had this card forever. I've always tried to build a deck around him. I've seen a bunch of other decks out there that are, surface around him. But yeah, I mean, he is kind of a tricky card to work with. But anyways, let's get to the deck and I'll explain my choices. So I decided to kind of mix Shaddolls with this, mainly because I want monsters that I set. So to start the deck, let's go with the pieces required to make that fusion monster. And so that would be 3 of the Mariokutai, however you want to say that. I mean, he's okay. He's got 900 attack. It would be better if he had more. The effect of this card can only be applied during opponent's turn when your opponent activates a magic card, which would now be a spell card. While this card is face up on the field, you contribute it to negate the activation. So, I mean, it's okay, but at 900 attack, they'll just run it over anyways. And then the other card required to make the fusion is Zombra the Dark. Now, this is a better card because it's 2100 attack. His only downside is he can't attack directly, and each time it destroys a monster by battle, decrease its attack by 200. But, I mean, that's okay, as long as you at least kill a monster with it. But mainly he's in here for the fusion of the last warrior. And then to round up, we have 3 King of the Swamp, because we want to get to our last warrior like as fast as possible. This is a deck that basically, if you don't pull him out turn 1, 2, 3, you're gonna have a struggle. That's really what the deck is around, so you want to get him out as fast as possible. So King of the Swamp essentially just lets you use him as another, like one of the materials, a substitute. So it can become this guy or this guy, or you can discard him to add Polymerization from your deck to your hand. So it's really good to tie together the combo. If you're missing one of the pieces, he kind of substitutes for it. And that's it for the fusion part of it. Now get into the Shaddolls. So 1 Shaddoll Hound, only because he's not going to be that useful in this deck, but his effect can come in handy. Essentially, when he's flipped face up, you add a Shaddoll card from your graveyard to your hand. Or when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, or sorry, when he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to flip the battle position, or change the battle position of a monster. Flip effects, except for Shaddolls, are negated. So basically, you could flip your face down Shaddolls face up and get their effect, or you could flip your opponent's monster and negate its flip effect if it has one. The next one is the Shaddoll Squamata, basically to destroy monsters on your opponent's side of the field, or if he's sent to the graveyard, you get to send 1 Shaddoll from your deck to your graveyard, which is what you would send your beast for. And then I go in with 3 Shaddoll Dragons. This one just bounces a card on your opponent's side of the field to their hand. So once you get your last warrior in play, if they have some stubborn monster that's still lingering on the board, you can just bounce it back and then they won't be able to summon it. So that's kind of the idea there. You'll notice I'm not using any of the Shaddolls that special summon because while he's on the field, you can't summon. So we don't want to waste resources on cards that you can't play. And then Shaddoll Beast. This is the level 5 one. When he's flipped summoned, or when he's flipped face up, you draw 2 cards, then you get discard a card, so that's okay, it's good for that. But also when he's sent from the grave to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to draw a card. So if you send your Squamata to the graveyard through a card effect, then you could send this one after it and draw a card. So that, or if you have to, you could set it, tribute set it, it could happen. So that's it for the monsters, just very basic line of monsters there, nothing fancy. Now on to the spells. We want to get to our combo fast, so 3 Allure of Darkness. It's okay if you have to banish a dark monster, even if it is one of your combo pieces, one of these guys, because you might have an extra one in your hand, or you might have the substitute to still be able to pull off the fusion. Then we have 1 Upstart Goblin. I think almost every combo deck plays Upstart Goblin, just so you have a 39 card deck instead of a 40 card deck. Foolish Burial to send your Beast or Squamata to the graveyard to get your draw. This is an interesting card, Fusion Conscription. Basically, you reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, which will be your Last Warrior, as it's the only target you can do this with. And then you add from your deck or graveyard to your hand one of the materials listed on it. So it has to be a material listed, so it has to be a monster name. It can't just be, if it was like the Shaddoll card, you can't just add a Shaddoll. As far as I know, it has to actually be a card that's listed. And then you just add it to your hand. You can't play that card this turn, but that's okay because you're going to use it as fusion material. And then we got 3 Polymerization. This is our fusion card. Again, we can pull this out with King of the Swamp when we need to. So the deck, in a sense, has a total of 6 Polymerizations because you got 3 in the deck and 3 cards that can pull it out. But this is going to be your main go-to to, well, I should say your only go-to to summon this guy. And afterwards, there is a way to use remaining polys to actually summon some of your Shaddoll fusions. Then I put in 2 MSTs just to deal with back row. And this card I feel is kind of important, and that's 3 Forbidden Chalice. So what this is you target a face-up monster on the field till the end of the turn. It gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. Now the reason why I want to play this is because you might want to shut this guy off. So if he's on your side of the field on your turn, you can activate this card, shut off his effect. He basically his effect is negated now, and now you can proceed to summon any of your monsters or go into a Polymerization and fuse into one of your Shaddoll fusion monsters. It's just a way to get monsters onto the field after this guy is already on the field. And keep in mind, when this guy's on the field, he just says you cannot summon, but you can set. So that's the whole point of this deck, is you're still going to be setting your monsters. You're going to be still setting your Shaddolls onto the field while he's face up. And then you're going to use card effects like this to turn off his effect or force these guys to flip face up. So we got the 3 Chalice there, and then for protection I decided on 2 Pianissimo weird name. Target 1 face-up card monster you control this turn. That face-up monster's original attack becomes 100. Also, that face-up monster can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So you hold on to this, so when you have your Last Warrior out, if your opponent does draw into some kind of monster destruction to try and get rid of it, you activate this. He's protected that turn. That's it for the spells. And on to the traps. So I don't play a whole lot of traps in this deck. 2 Sinister Shadow Games. So what this does is you send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, which will probably be your Beast if you have to, or if you can. And then you can change any number of face-down defense position Shaddoll monsters you control to face-up defense. So another way to cheat monsters into play once he's still there, once this guy's out, because then you can actually set the monster, and then during your opponent's turn you can activate this. It'll force flip it up and then activate its effect, and then on your turn you can turn him to attack mode and attack. Pretty simple strategy, nothing really complex there. And then more protection, 3 Solemn Judgments. You know, it's a combo deck. You got to protect. It's like literally you pull this guy out and you try and protect him and win the game that way. Kind of like the strategies behind like Mystic Mine decks, where you want to pull out a Mystic Mine and just sit on it. So your whole focus is protecting that guy. Get him out as fast as possible and protect him. And of course for the extra deck, unfortunately I only own 1 of these guys, but you would probably want at least 2 in the deck, just in case 1 fails. You could try and pull it out again, but the main focus is just to get the 1 out and keep him there. And because you can, I put in some of the Shaddolls, the El Shaddolls, like the ones that are dark or that require just 2 Shaddoll monsters. Actually, this guy probably wouldn't work, but the Winda for sure, because it's a dark monster. And this one because you have water targets, like your King of the Swamp. You could probably even substitute the King of the Swamp if you want. And this guy's water, so kind of works. Kind of, you know, it's just an extra added thing. Here's two dark monsters, for instance. I wouldn't expect this would happen very often. And of course, you can also do Shaddoll construct if you really wanted to. But that's, I mean, that's about it. It's not a very complicated deck. It's really just a combo deck to try and, you know, have fun with the last warrior from another planet, or whatever the heck his name is. Yeah, because I just always thought this guy was neat, and it's fun to just pull something out, just take your opponent to, you know, by surprise, and like, what, I can't summon a monster now? It's really funny. And if their deck's not set up to set their monsters and everything just goes in defense mode, they're just going to lose them to attacks. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Throw some comments down below. I always like to know what you have to say. If you have any ideas or thoughts. I know there's other cards like Light of Intervention and stuff like that that work in these decks, but this is just one focusing mostly on the Shaddolls. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.